Gyokeres. Is that going to happen?
This is interesting because there's been developments today. We're told that Manchester United have made initial approaches over the Sporting striker Viktor Gyokeres, but it's via intermediaries. So it should be stated here, it isn't club-to-club contact yet. It's one of those situations where they will approach intermediaries to try and explore the conditions of a particular deal.
Is that normal?
Yeah, these things can happen between clubs. If a player has been told, yes, we will allow you to leave provided the price is right, there's no point wasting time. It's almost the unwritten rule of, like, see if you can sort out a club and then the two clubs will come together and try and sort out a price. There's no point spending weeks and weeks, clubs trying to sort out a fee, finally getting it over the line and then say, come on then, oh no, I don't fancy going. Yeah. And all of that will have been for nothing. So there has to be some sort of encouragement that the player would want to go. We do know that the head coach, Ruben Amorim, is a huge admirer of Viktor Gyokeres. He played under Amorim at Sporting, played fantastically well under Amorim, continued to play fantastically well last season as well. And it should also be said here that United are in the market for a striker regardless of what happens with Rasmus Højlund. We did tell you last week that there has been some interest, particularly from Italy, where his stock is still quite high because he came from Atalanta, was highly rated when United took a punt on him. Inter Milan, we think, are interested. They were just waiting for Christian Kivu to be appointed officially, and now they will make a decision on whether they want to pursue it or not. Rasmus Højlund, though, publicly at least, is saying, I've got a contract here for another few years. I'll be at Manchester United next season and I will be competing for my place next season. It should also be said here that United, yes, they are interested in Viktor Gyokeres, that is clear, but there are a number of other players in that position that they'll be looking at too.
Are they still looking at Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford?
100%, yeah. Talks are ongoing between Manchester United and Brentford over the signing of Bryan Mbeumo. United, we think, will go back in with an improved offer for the forward after their first offer was rejected. That first offer was an initial £45 million plus £10 million in performance-related add-ons. So you're looking at a total package of £55 million. And I think United knew that would get rejected, but it's the start of a negotiation. What we do know is that Bryan Mbeumo wants to go to Manchester United. There's all this talk that's come up recently that with Thomas Frank potentially going to Tottenham, would he try and sign Bryan Mbeumo? He might try and do that, but as far as we're aware, we think that Mbeumo has chosen United.
Dharmesh, we've been told, haven't we, there's doom and gloom financially at Manchester United. People have, sadly lost their roles and stuff. Where's the money coming from for these signings?
Well, I mean, look, with regard to the Cunha signing and the Mbeumo signing, it's not Manchester United start a transfer window and they've got £0 to spend. They will have a budget, and I think that regardless of what happens with sales, those two kind of signings will fall within that budget. I think thereafter, then you might see a situation where Manchester United will have to maybe make sales to fund other signings. Now, if you look, interestingly, at the signings that they're trying to make at the moment, Mbeumo and Cunha's in already. You could argue that they would likely play in the number 10, one of the number 10 roles behind the striker. Now, if you look at the players that United have in their squad who could potentially play in that role, you're looking at the likes of Rashford, Sancho, Antony, Garnacho. They look like that they would be up for sale effectively for United. So I think United would prefer permanent sales of those players. If you look at their market value at the moment, they would probably get around upwards of 100 to 125 million pounds combined for those four players. But you can't rule out loan moves again for these players either, because some of them, particularly Rashford and Sancho, will be on high wages. And so would a club want to take on those high wages, or will they need the help of a club like United to be able to maybe just subsidise some of those wages as well?
Another complicated summer for United then. Carvey, let's talk to United. Could Arsenal nip in and nick him?
There have been lots of reports that there's a bit of a split at Arsenal in the sense that Andrea Berta, the new sporting director, may want Gyokeres, whereas Mikel Arteta is leaning more towards Sesko. I haven't seen with my own eyes a great deal of both of the players, but I think they're different types of strikers, and Gyokeres is just a goal machine. I mean, his record at Sporting is incredible, and in every big game he scores goals.
Right, look
tied